Last week, we took the challenge-winning blue-black Lurrus deck for a spin. Powerful, 9 colorless lands in that deck. Here, we're going to apply the same concept, but instead of playing Lurrus and Mishra's Bauble, we're going to play Tinker, Vault Key, Vampiric Tutor, all the powerful restricted cards. Let's see how it fares in a Vintage Challenge. Okay, welcome back, Vintage Gamers. Super serious Vintage Challenge today. We're going to take the latest in technologies revolving around Lorien Revealed and apply it to an Esper Tinker shell. So one of the things that's been happening recently is there's been this 9 colorless land Lurrus control deck playing 4 Urza Saga, 4 Wasteland, and 1 Strip Mine. While fooling around with that deck, I felt like it didn't need to be Lurrus. It definitely, Lurrus was definitely a benefit for the deck, but why not play a more high power version of the deck and see how it fares? So today I have Mystical Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Time Vault, Manifold Key, as well as Tinker Citadel, Tinker Sphinx, instead of things like Mishra's Bauble and like Orcish Bowmaster and those cards. So I've adopted this 4 Lorien colorless spell land shell, and I'm just kind of playing mostly an Esper, Tinker Saga deck. For creatures, we're going to play 2 Hullbreacher, 1 Monastery Mentor. I'd love to have Lavinia in this deck, but I'm not really sure I can convince myself to play Lavinia with 9 colorless lands. Even though I'm viewing these sagas and wastelands as spells, obviously they take a land drop slot for the turn, which can really prohibit, fast Lavinia plays. So hopefully this Lorien Revealed is going to fix our mana and allow us to play these other cards, and also pitches, to force and that kind of thing. And then the rest of this deck is pretty straightforward. Blue restricted card, it's in a Tinker Saga shell. Pretty heavy sideboard here for specifically Dredge and Mono White. Mono White being the most played deck in the format. I think this deck could struggle. So I've added Portal to Phyrexia, bunch of Swords to Plowshares, Balance, and Ending. Maybe, probably Ending. I haven't decided about Ending inside of that deck yet. Only 2 pieces of extra interaction in the sideboard, and then a pile of 7 pieces for Dredge and other bizarre decks. So, well, the thing is, I, typically don't want to play an Urza Saga shell, but I'm always going to test and make sure that my feelings are, backed up by actual games of Magic the Gathering and not just theory. So this is something that we played recently, and I thought it worked out pretty well. So I want to try it in a Tinker shell and see if the same kind of principle of Lorien and 9 colorless lands applies inside of Tinker. So that's what we're gonna do today. This challenge is gonna happen in a couple minutes. Are you interested in weekly vintage metagame recommendations? Do you want to see your deck list played on my channel? Or maybe you are just looking for the best way to support my vintage content. Make sure you check out the Patreon link in the description below. Let's battle. Okay, Vintage Challenge round 1. Looks like MTG bot is still inactive. That's sad. Let's do Vintage Challenge. 0 wins. 0 losses. Okay. My hand has Urza Saga, so it's basically unbeatable. Keep. I think this hand is quite good. Has Force of Will. Has a Saga Construct plan. The Saga goes off, gets a Black Lotus. Play of Lotus to Citadel. However, Chalice of the Void just stops all of that, so I think I'm going to force pitch. Probe and hope to draw another blue card and continue with my original plan. See what else they have. Oh. My opponent's going to Noxious Revival the Chalice, play a Bazaar of Baghdad, activate, rebuy Chalice, and then replay Chalice. Fantastic. Well, I need to really draw a Wasteland off the top. Is what I'm going to need to draw, probably. Vengevine, Chalice, no squeeze. Okay, winnable game with a Wasteland here. Sol Ring is also an incredible draw because it's like the only thing that turns this saga on while also getting around Chalice of the Void, so And also gives credence to the possibility of me maybe getting a Black Lotus off of this saga. Though, our saga has to not get wastelanded by the deck with 5 wastelands in it, so we'll see what happens. It also has to get not Force of Vigor. They did pitch a Force of Vigor, but... yeah, basically, I mean, Saga is just so bad in this matchup with 5 wastelands and Force of Vigors and stuff. 1 Squee this time, 2 Vengevines. Looks like they don't have a Vigor and they don't have a Wasteland. We don't have any follow-ups, but we did draw Force. So at the very least here, we get to make 2 Construct tokens. We could also just play the Citadel, which is probably what we're going to do. So it'll be 1 Construct token plus 1 Citadel. The good part of the beginning sequence from our opponent is that they only had 1 Squee, and it came after the second Bazaar activation, so they haven't really gotten card advantage or card parity with these Bazaar activations. They've gotten disadvantage, though the Squee is coming back now on this upkeep, so they'll go up to 4 cards and then down to 3 cards after activating. Obviously, if these Vengevines get put into play on this turn, it's a lot worse for me because the Citadel needs my life total. But my opponent did pitch a Force of Vigor and a Force of Will over these 2 activations, so we'll have to see what they have in their hand. Squee is one of the hardest decks to play against as a Tinker player, but this matchup should be a little bit better than normal, considering we have all these Wastelands, which are the single best card in the matchup. And you wouldn't normally have them if you're just playing a normal Tinker deck. So if my opponent ends up trying to rely on stack interaction, we did draw the other blue card for Force. So there's a world where... so there's one world probably where they have Force green card, and we force it, and we're in probably a really strong spot. The other place is they probably have like Force blue card, and then... or they could be holding like 1 lizard, and then they're just trying to find a second lizard. That's probably the worst outcome for us, because we really don't want to take damage. There's even a possibility that we're supposed to chump with a Saga token just to preserve life for our Citadel. I think that's probably unlikely to happen, but... all right, so opponent brought back Squee, activate up to 6, down to 3, see how many free creatures they find. If they find 2 free creatures, they bring back Vengevine. If they don't bring back Vengevines, we're pretty happy. Okay, looks like we're not bringing back Vengevines unless we hit double Hollow One. All right, so my opponent has 3 cards in hand. I think I'm going to go for a Citadel. See what land, if I draw a land or not. Force. 1 card in hand, so they can't stop anything now because I have Force. All right, so we're definitely going for Citadel. I would have to make double black to use this land drop, so... yeah, let's just get a Black Lotus. Play a Citadel. Play a Wasteland off the top. Yeah, that's pretty good. Lorien reveal, draw 3. Dig through time, though. Dig through time, though. I think dig through time is a step too far. I could always shuffle this with... I need to use this Wasteland for sure. I don't see a need to attack. I'm just going to hold back. This game is not going to be really won by attacking, and just in case they have another Bazaar in their hand, or a Doctor's Revival as their last card, and can bring back Bazaar and bring back 2 Vengevines. Next turn, we'll have a lot more mana with our Tolarian Academy. We can even cast this dig through time anyways, so... all right, my opponent has conceded the game. I think we got very lucky in this game. We drew the blue card. Our opponent didn't find any Wastelands. They didn't find any free creatures. I would consider that... I think we just got like very, very good luck in what our opponent drew. That's my evaluation of that game. But winning a game 1 against Squee is very nice. The Soul Ring top deck was also extremely, extremely good. So yeah, I would say mostly a lot of luck. Yo, what's up, non-attractive? 58 months. Almost 6 years. Almost 6 years. We've been doing the streaming thing for a long time, huh? All right. Well, I have a really, really heavy sideboard for this. Do you bring in Portal here, even though you have Sphinx? Definitely don't need Citadel. Can't imagine that you do. I think I'm gonna bring in some amount of this other stuff too. I feel like we're gonna like completely change how we're set up in this game. It's kind of weird that... How am I supposed to do this? Like definitely taking out Vault Key. Do I just like take out some sagas? I feel like I definitely want Vamp. It's kind of weird. I feel like Saga's good if it doesn't get... Not sure. Like, I think I want, like, a bunch of... Like, I feel like I can just play this kind of controlling game, which is maybe really silly, but... I don't think I need a repeal if I have a prismatic ending. I feel like Dig Through Time is a stretch too far. Maybe I just don't have enough blue cards for force at this point. And we can keep in, like... Mystical repeal. I don't know. Like, I don't know. This feels like what I'd like to be doing. Don't know if it's good or not. This is not something I've encountered before, but it feels like I am bored. Like, I think my deck gets better if I'm just playing like this. Let's try it. Kind of just switching to a control deck. Like, if I'm playing ley lines and wastelands and swords, it should be pretty strong. Portal is almost entirely for mono white initiative, but also can be used against the bug decks. The reason you need it is because Tinker's actually kind of bad against mono white initiative. If you want to go Citadel, you have to have not really taken damage, and they have to have no hate bears in play for it to be good. And if you go Sphinx, like they have too many answers for Sphinx between Lorien and Solitudes and stuff. Also, like Sphinx can't block a Dungeoneer. That hurts as well. So a lot of the time they won't have more than three creatures. So Portal is just gonna wrap their board, and then they need to find a Lorien to answer Portal, or they're going to lose to the Portal. So yeah, I'm not really sure about this sideboard plan. I wouldn't take it as a 100% correct choice. It's just something I'm trying here. I usually hate trying to answer like 1-for-1 with or like forces for their stuff, because like it doesn't really... Like, obviously negation is bad against them because they're not playing spells you want to counter, but even forces like can be pretty hard for you. If we instead play a bunch of 1-for-1 like good cards, maybe that'll be better for us. I'm not sure. That's my logic anyways. One of the bigger problems was we started taking out like a bunch of blue cards, right? And so at some point your forces become unlikely to be castable anyways. Like, you definitely want to take out Vault Key because it's just super, super weak to Force of Vigor. But Sphinx in hand, Soul Guide Lantern, no Wasteland, Hull Breacher with no fast mana. This hand's not good enough. This is turn 1... Mox, Search for Land, Needle, no Flusterstorm backup, or Mox, Search for Land, Ancestral. This one's probably fine with our opponent already mulliganing to 5. If I draw a land off the top, I can just play Needle with Flusterstorm backup too. Obviously, if my opponent plays a Chalice, it gets worse for me, but there's one Chalice in the deck. I think it's fine. Opponent Serum Powder's on 5. Opponent Serum Powder's on 5 again. So opponent mulligans to 4. Snapback. We got to keep note of that one. That's an answer to Sphinx. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like a prayer, right? We do have Ancestral Walk as well. So it's not like we have just nothing. I think this is totally fine. My opponent kept a 2-card hand with Bazaar of Baghdad, activating down to 0 cards. They did hit a Squee and a Vengevine, but I have a turn 1 Needle, which is basically the best counter for this anyways. And I drew an Urza Saga. Feel like we're supposed to wait on the Saga for 1 turn, though, and just get the blue land. That way, on the next turn, we can hold up Flusterstorm as well. I will get an island. Yeah, I mean, Squee has its biggest weakest is itself, and its second biggest weakest is Wasteland. And I think its third biggest weakness is probably Needle, so. So my opponent has 1 card and a Squee, which means we're free to time walk in Saga on this turn, and we'll win the game from there. So not a very hype game 2, but that's definitely something that happens when Squee... I mean, Squee is a mulligan to Bazaar deck. You have to have Bazaar, and Squee is also a deck that functions like probably... Maybe not exponentially is not like scientifically the right word, but your hands get much, much better the more cards you have in your hand. So even my opponent mulliganing like a 4 or 5 card hand is pretty rough. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to keep this hand. My opponent had already mulliganed to 5 because I was on the draw, so I know they are on going to 5. And so this hand actually gets a lot better when my opponent has less cards in hand. So yeah, we'll take it. Okay, round 2, Vintage Challenge. Super Cow. Got a Flusterstorm, a Wasteland, a Jet, a Hull Breacher. Seems fine. I feel like this covers a pretty decent swath of the format. Underground Sea. Ruby, so not Doomsday. Probably Tinker then. This looks like a pretty free Flusterstorm. Obviously, this like is likely to get Demonic Tutor, or sorry, it's likely to get Ancestral or Tinker, but I think this just utilizes my mana better. Should always be Underground Sea. Oh, I have a Jet. Okay, it should have been Tundra. Whoops. I think I would rather just Wasteland anyways this turn. Though I guess saving my Wasteland for Urza Saga has a lot of upside as well. But I drew a second one, so I feel like the upside's pretty high. Volcanic Island, huh? Interesting. Wow, I'm getting punished so badly. Okay, great. I can't get punished more than I just did, so... The fact that they already had the Ancestral in their hand, they probably would have gotten Tinker, I guess. Oh boy, not ideal. I guess it would have like been the thing would have happened is I would have played end of turn Hull Breacher, right? And then they would have cast it in response and they would have overdrawn instead. Possibly. So I mean, I don't think it would have ever worked out for me where I would have gotten to keep a Hull Breacher because I wouldn't have just like passed with 3 mana open, right? I feel like that would never actually happen. Seems fine. The biggest problem I have with Hull Breacher is there's like very, very rarely good timing windows for it. Hello, timing window? Maybe it's a bait. It doesn't matter. Just doing it. Yeah, they have Pyroblast. Man, what a sicko playing. Oh, a braid. Okay. I was about to say, what a sicko playing Pyroblast in this metagame. Do we think they have sagas? Hmm. I feel like I'm beating a saga now, and I'd rather just strip mine them off of their mana. Maybe that's not right, but like I should be beating a saga by having a saga on 2 already. True, true. Main deck Soul Guide Lantern should give away sagas. Here's a saga. Oh. Am I just getting ranched here? Well, I guess we'll find out together. Have a second one? Yeah, they have force. Wow. Well, I feel like my opponent resolved an ancestral in this game, and I did not. They just draw 6 this turn. And I don't even get a Saga token. Man. Brutal. I mean, they just like had 2 answers for 2 Hull Breachers. I don't know. Drew my Manifold Key. Not great. Well, the second and third ancestrals are probably not super relevant, right? Like, it's all about if you resolve the first ancestral, in which case you can then resolve more ancestrals. All right, Sensei's top. Probably am just supposed to draw extra cards this turn instead of spinning. Okay. Oh, I have no cards in hand. Don't even think I would draw to try to do something. Oh, this is just lethal? Vamp? Can't imagine we don't lose from here. I guess I could have blind drew for a mental misstep. I don't know if that's actually good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, my opponent just outdrew me by a million hands, million cards. I probably should have blind drew for a mental misstep, but... All right, well... What do we want to do? Negation Trap? Needle in the Saga Mirror? Lantern for the Breach deck, maybe? These cards seem fine. Mystical out. Swords out. Repeal's still fine. Sphinx out. Wastelands still look good for the Saga Mirror. I was pretty desperate in that game after my opponent resolved the first Ancestral. Felt like we were just infinitely far behind. Maybe I'll just cut one Lorien here. I don't know what else to cut, so... All these other cards look pretty important. Let's do that. Tinker Mirrors. Blue Mirrors. I don't really think my Flusterstorm was bad. I don't even know if I dislike my Wasteland. I guess what I could have done is instead of Wastelanding, I could have just jammed a Hull Breacher on my turn. Then they just end up like what, abrading it and then ancestraling anyways. Assuming they have it. Sand has Force. Saga. Hardcast Citadel. I guess this is fine. Kind of a weird hand, but... Get this Saga in the play on turn 1 so that we can get a Lotus as fast as possible. So we can cast this Citadel. Also, we have the Moxen, so we can make a construct anyways. Not bad. Pretty good hand, I think. Considering we have a Citadel in our hand, it's pretty good. Saga Gaming. Needle. Probably naming just Saga, right? All right, I think we would want... just this Brainstorm. We can actually Brainstorm and then Tinker if we had more blue sources. We could technically take this key and just draw a bunch of cards with top. But if I take this key and they name top, it's much worse for us, but can they really name top in this situation? They named Wasteland. Huh. I guess the idea that Urza Saga tokens are completely irrelevant in the matchup goes play into that, maybe. And they're just going to try to go for a breach kill. Can't really afford to like brainstorm this Citadel back in Tinker because I don't have an extra blue source anyways. Feel like at this point we just commit to Black Lotus Citadel. I'm surprised they named Wasteland, but maybe they have a pretty convincing breach combo if this goes off. They just like play a land drop and hold up Flusterstorm. It's quite hard for us to win. Just fetch this in response. I don't want them like playing land and having opposition agent or something. I guess like not really beating that anyways. Maybe if I have force and they don't have backup, maybe it's fine. Time walk. Think I'm gonna try to spin and find a Flusterstorm is what I'm gonna do. Or like a second force. Cause this just looks super bad for me. Second force and the Black Lotus. So I can just go force pitch Tinker and then draw force and then force pitch. Okay, that's really good for me. It's basically exactly what we're looking for. So this one, I'll just force their time walk pitching Tinker. And then they'll go to my turn and we'll make 6 mana and draw the second force. And we'll have Tinker top, which I should hope wins this game. All right, draw that second force, float the mana, get the Black Lotus. Cast another Citadel. They resolves. Okay. Yeah, no reason to play this island. They don't even know I had force backup. I should have held priority on that. That one's probably worth playing. I should be holding priority on all of these, to be fair. It's fine. Not really a big deal when you have a top, right? Ah, Vault Key is what they were going for. Don't really want to name Vault Key yet. Don't think I want to pay 5 to draw 3. I'd rather just draw 3 with top. What am I trying to draw to here? Time Walk, Demonic, something? This is like an Ancestral. Let's draw another one. Flusterstorm. This is probably the last card I draw this game. Well, that opens up a lot of hard cast options. Let's cast that one too. Oh boy. So where does that leave me here? I still have a brainstorm and a cycle if I want. I can... None of this stuff really just does anything, right? Should I just name Strip Mine? Should I name Volkey? Probably should just name Volkey. Kind of wanted to win the game this turn. I mean, I have a repeal, so I don't really have to. Hey, the whole demonic tutor happened. I don't have enough life to cast this demonic tutor now. That's crazy. All right, I'll just play a million counter spells and we'll get it next turn. Just name Time Vault for now. I can repeal it back or something later. I feel like that's what happens when you make your deck have like 8 million lands in it, right? I can't even like cast very many of these Force of Wills and thing anymore. Shouldn't need a C. I have a jet. All right. Yeah, we can make a lot of different like small value plays that I just don't think matter very much. I'd rather just figure out a way to just win the game. Don't have a Twister in my deck anymore, so I can't do that. I guess I should have named Strip Mine because they can just hit my Lorien Academy here. It just turns off like half my mana. Hmm. No, I guess they had Bowmaster this entire time, but I had all the floating mana. Oh wait, I'm just gonna die to Bowmaster. If I cast Force, I die to Bowmaster. I think I got through this game, huh? I knew they had a Bowmaster in hand. Wow. Well, I can't like die unless they drew a second Bowmaster. God, how I feel like I played this game so badly. Wait, they drew a Flusterstorm for turn. And I got rid of my repeal for Time Vault. Uh-oh. Did I screw this whole game up? Because now I want to force this Tinker, and I go to 1. I just have to make it show this Bowmaster never resolves. Can't trap, right? I feel like I threw this game super hard. But I have a time demonic tutor coming. It's got to be something winning with demonic tutor, right? I think letting them strip mine me was so bad. Just like demonic time walk here with a saga. It's got to be the best play. Ooh, I can draw that too. That's got to be good. Do I have enough mana to do all this? I have 3 mana, and then I have 6 mana, and I need 7 mana. Real? I guess I can brainstorm. Maybe I should just draw it and still do demonic time walk, and then hold open hardcast force. Kind of wish I had the wasteland still. I didn't think about tinker away their thing, because then I could wasteland them and keep them off of their ability to like play Bowmaster. I guess I could just tutor for a wasteland. Nah, I mean time walk's so much better, right? How close am I to killing them with Citadel? Just gonna have to hold up everything. So this will currently hold up in Mindbreak Trap and Force. If I tap this and this, I'm not holding up in anything because I only have 2 blue sources. I can play key and untap my Soul Ring. I guess that's free. Maybe I'm supposed to be holding that though. Oh boy, I really hate the way I played this game. Sorry, chat. I just went way too low for no reason when I knew they had a Bone Master. I don't think it will matter. I think we'll be fine. I just am not really happy with myself. Feels like I opened myself up to bad things happening. So I still have enough to hard cast a Mindbreak Trap right now, so I can just make a Saga token and win the game with it. So no problem. I also drew Volky now after I needled it. Well, I guess I didn't draw it now, but... All right. Oh, I don't have 10 permanents, but I don't need 10 permanents. I have 11 damage. Okay. Okay. I'm not happy with that, but when you put a Saga in play, it's usually very hard. Oh, sorry, when you put a Citadel in play, it's with a top, it's very hard to lose, though we did give it our best shot. Do I want an ending? I don't think so. Excuse me. No, I think the setup we have makes sense. If I had to go back in that game, the one thing that I would change is I would change the needle. I would needle strip mine so that I could keep my Tolarian Academy up. By keeping my Tolarian Academy up, I had like multiple more counter spells in my hand that I could actually play. It's another hand with Citadel in it. This hand doesn't have fast mana. It has a needle and a wasteland. This doesn't feel good. I really hate the look of this hand. Don't really ever want to draw the needle. You just want to get it off of Saga. I don't actually have interaction in my hand. I do have a Saga answer. We do know they have Bowmasters in their deck. I think this has to go. This hand is this hand even better? It's not really better. But I'm not going to go lower, I guess. Kind of wish I kept my first hand. Yeah, it's a lot better than my hand. Okay, sure. I should probably have boarded out an island. I didn't consider that at the time, but that seems like a pretty good play. Uh-oh. This is Tinker with Flusterstorm backup. All right, yeah, this is doomed. Our hand was just not good, and you just can't win a Tinker Mirror with a hand like this. I don't know. This is just sometimes what happens when you play Tinker. We drew Citadel, our opponent drew Tinker. Not good for the home team. Wasting isn't even good here. There's not much that's good here. But maybe they just brick really hard off their Citadel. Yep. Okay, we have that matched at least, unless they time walk. Brain freeze. Target themselves. Okay. Soul Guide, Lantern, Force, Land. Time Vault, Bowmaster, freeze. Bolt me. Soaring. All right. Another turn. And we have a Wasteland. They don't have a Needle right now. Hull Breacher, Ruby, C. Just gotta draw the Hull Breacher so we have Force. I guess we'll probably draw the Ruby and play it as well. So that we could theoretically play the Hull Breacher. Probably don't want to do that now in case they have a Force of Will on the top of their library. Thanks, Travis. I don't know when I would want to do it, though. Probably at least on their turn in case they have, like, an Abrade. Well, draw step doesn't really help, right? Because they're going to have a blue card in hand. I think I'd rather them take 5. I don't know if, like, holding Force is better or not, but... So we know that we have a top and a C on top. Underworld Breach off the top. So I needed to play Lantern. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Could have played Lantern with Force backup, I guess. I don't know. It's probably better. They still have 7 cards in hand. I think they both play around different cards, right? There's only probably 2 breaches in their deck, and they have probably at least a few other draw spells. Probably a similar number, right? Like a top, an ancestral, ponder, brainstorm. It's got to be more than the breach. What the breach does win the game immediately. And by holding the whole breach in my hand, I at least get a Force. I don't really feel like a Force is ever going to do anything with my opponent having 7 cards in hand. Having cast turn 1 Tinker with a mana open for Flusterstorm. I assume my opponent has a Flusterstorm. But I like the problem in the games that we lost were that our opponent played better cards than us. Not that we didn't have the same cards to play in our deck, but we just didn't have them in our opening hands, right? Like game 1 we lost after our opponent resolved Ancestral. And this game we lost after our opponent resolved Tinker. I don't know. Like, there were some slight variations that we could have done in game 1 to maybe have a better chance of beating an Ancestral in hand, but I'm not sure that they were correct to do. And then in this game, we just mulliganed a bad hand in 7, had a worse hand in 6. Could theoretically go to 5, but losing a lot of power doing so. Okay, here we go. Round 3, Vintage Challenge, we're up against Wizard. Wizard has been branching out, so I'm not 100% sure they're on Dredge. If they are on Dredge, is this hand worth keeping? It's probably not good enough to beat Dredge with just a Wasteland, unfortunately. So probably have to put this one back, which is unfortunate because I have 3 Wastelands. But I need to be doing something else powerful besides just Wastelanding my opponent, so I think I'm going to mulligan this hand. And then, of course, I mulligan to 2 Tinker targets, Yogwell, Manifold Key. I don't know. I don't think this is the deck for me. I'm not going to lie to you right now. This deck just doesn't make me feel good about what I'm doing with my life. I just have like random keys and random extra tinker targets and sagas and wastelands. I just don't feel like what I'm doing is good. I hate that. I hate it. It just feels so clunky. I'm not lucky enough to play this deck with the hands you need to perform. I want my combo deck to be like more streamlined. I guess it's at this point it's like not really a combo deck. It's like a combo control deck or whatever, but I don't know. Looks like my opponent's not here yet. Yeah, but I also want the thing that I'm doing to be powerful, right? No, this is not a keep. We're gonna go to 5. My opponent's just not here, so they haven't mulliganed yet. All right, they mulligan to 6. I mulligan to 5. All right, this is my best hand. This hand's actually very, very good. Simply draw the good cards. Duh. Just draw the good cards, Justin. You silly goose. Fuck. All right, which 2 cards am I putting away? I guess it like has to be Island Emerald. This has to be like an Ancestral on their upkeep too, right? Maybe I hold this Academy? No, I have to have Flusterstorm back up. I don't really want to get Mindbreak Trap. I also get to like hold open Flusterstorm for a Vigor as well. Lorien Saga. I don't mind that. I can cast Lorien next turn, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wow. Wizard is not on Dredge. Okay. Interesting. Man, if I draw a Mox and I can place Lorien Revealed and have Flusterstorm, that'd be so cool. I love that. I don't think I'm going to cycle any of these. Force. Now I think I just want to cast Lorien. Maybe not. How much? Don't get to hold up Force, but makes me play around Hull Breacher a lot. I think I'm gonna cast it here. I'm not gonna cast it any of my other turns this game, right? Because I'm just gonna be holding open Saga activations. It's supposed to be Flusterstorm of their own, which is fine. Right, exactly. That's fine. Like, I don't think this is like a bad thing by any means. Opponent's probably on like Tinker Initiative, right? I don't feel like I need to force this. I'm gonna be making a 3/3. They're gonna come in for 5. And then I'm gonna make a 5/5 and I can key it. I mean, there is currently no blue-white Saga deck that has Wastelands. However, you can build a blue-white Saga deck with Wastelands, as is shown by something like what I'm playing today. I mean, if they have a White Plume and a Wasteland, it is quite bad for me. I probably am losing, but I think I'm just supposed to let this resolve. Like, I'm beating the initiative on board with Saga, right? That's my read on the situation. This is like, again, like one of the huge, like what I'm trying to push to people who play the White Plume initiative in their Tinker decks is like, you don't have the things in your deck that make White initiative good. You don't have the Wasteland, you don't have the Archon, you don't have the Cavern, like you don't have the things that make this card good on its own. Interesting. Well, that makes things interesting, doesn't it? Feel like we make a Saga token, which gives us 3. No, it's bad. Man. I mean, I feel like we just go. We just tinker a Citadel. They have 3 cards in hand. I can't make a construct though. I guess I could choose to not use my Saga and use Academy and Ruby. It's got to be better, right? I mean, this whole game is what me. I resolve Ancestral, right? I mulled to 5, I found my Ancestral, and now I get to play Magic. Force Time Twister. Yeah, I don't think waiting is like as good though. Like we're just winning the game on the spot here, right? Most of the time. I'm not sure if I want to force or fluster, to be honest. I was considering force pitching fluster. But I think I'm just gonna fluster it. Like there's a world where this doesn't work, right? Like I just totally brick out and it's really bad for me. But I don't know. Shouldn't I be putting my Bolus's Citadels in play? That's a really good draw. Yeah. I don't know. My opponent tapped out for a White Plume Adventure, so they died. I recommend simply not using your mana to cast White Plume Adventure. Anyways, we will be bringing in some amount of swords because they do hit like Hull Breacher and Lavinia and other cards that are problematic. So we just like kind of we get like normally when you play against an Esper Saga deck, you have to like push and pull and tug on like how many swords you want to have in your deck because you're only hitting like you know like 2 Lavinias and a Hull Breacher or something. But then your opponent's like, oh, let me also throw in like 5 other creatures, and then it just becomes like pretty free. I don't know how much I'm gonna bring in yet. But these are the cards I'm considering. I actually like don't feel like we need to be bringing in Needle for the Saga Mirror, right? Because we have Wastelands. Feels like it's kind of not necessary. Gotta remember to take out an island this time. I forgot to do that last time. So if we take out an island and we take out a Sphinx and we take out... Let me go look at the last list. There was a Time Twister, so I'm definitely not taking out Hull Reachers. So it's like probably like a pile of Flusterstorms, right? I don't think I want Ending. I think I just want Trap Negation and some amount of swords. Wonder if like Mystical is like kind of bad. I kind of forgot to mention it at the beginning of the video, but I definitely put 2 tops in my deck to try to help with the problem of my Citadel is super bad with 18 lands in the deck. That was a change I actually made myself to make this list better. I don't know how I'm going to fit any more of these cards. Maybe I can only play a couple swords. Like, what else was bad here? Like, there's like nothing that's bad here. Maybe we like trim a Lorien revealed. Like, what if we just trim like another island? Is that crazy? If we just trim both islands? Who needs mana to cast spells? I have lands. That might be too much. That might be going overboard. Let's try it. If he's playing Dom's list from last week, it's like 2 Saga, 3 Cavern of Souls, which is interesting. It's a weird deck, but I'll definitely want 4 swords in that case. Yeah, this is probably a keep. Oh, wait, I don't have a blue mana. Never mind. This is not a keep. This hand's not very good. It's fine. I have forces. It's okay. We have the exact same board, except my card is more expensive. So who's really winning? I feel like we don't care about this. We'll swords it eventually. I want a Mox Pearl. Urza Saga. Here, that's a good card. Be a shame if something happened to it. Though if they have a second Saga, then there's a problem. Emerald. That's not like an Urza Saga at all. All right. How close are we to casting Dig Through Time? We have 4 mana, and there'll be 3 cards in yard. So if we force, we can cast Dig Through Time. Imagine I just die to this Hull Breacher after never finding a white source. I guess I can demonic for a white source if I absolutely have to. I would rather never do that in my life, but we'll see what happens. All right, they're out of lands. It's a good sign for the home team. Strip mine. Okay. This does let us cast Dig Through Time, right? Should we just dig in their upkeep? I think so. Force pitching Hull Breacher. Force pitching Force. Force pitch. Like, they had double Force. Force Hull Breacher, Force Mystical. All right. So if we just never draw a white or black source, we lose in 5 attacks. I don't think we're losing. I mean, we have the more powerful cards. That's pretty good. I think that's good for us that they use their entire hand to stop our Dig Through Time. What'd they draw? They drew a land and Ancestral. You ready? Who's ready for Ancestral? Who's ready for Ancestral? It's clearly Ancestral. Time Walk? Time Walk is pretty good too. Ooh, oh no. Uh-oh. Not good. I can strip mine them to keep them off of Ancestral. If I draw a land or a Moxen. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. None of that nonsense. Thank you, deck, for drawing what I need. And now I'm trading with this Hull Breacher. Things are good. Things are real good. What did they got? Oh, I thought they got a needle for a second. Sure. Whoa. Blind draw for a blind draw for a land. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Our opponent is very sad right now. Opponent said, well, it's okay. I can drop and never have to play this deck anymore. Which, to be fair, is how I would feel if I had to play Initiative Tinker as well. Mana Crypt, interesting. Pretty sure I just get... It's kind of unfortunate that I don't have a Mox Opal in my deck, huh? I feel like we just... What if we do? What if we, like... Like, if I had a Mox Opal, I could go Demonic and then Tinker, right? There's, like, Sensei's top, Mana Crypt. Well, the Jet... I mean, I'm not opposed to playing this Mana Crypt. I know Zajad just said, we're not playing this Mana Crypt, but I kind of don't hate it. Maybe this Manifold Key is just what we need to get the job done here. If I had a Needle, I could name Sensei's top, which would be kind of funny. If I get a Jet, I can Demonic for an Urza Saga. Isn't that, like, super winning? Even if I lose 2 flips, I can still get a Pearl and Swords one of my own constructs. I don't know. I'm not scared. I don't need to do this all pre-combat, but I just wanted to F6 value. In fact, I recommend not doing that all pre-combat. I mean, playing the Crypt obviously is good pre-combat, but... Blind draw for an Ancestral. Did not find it. GG. Imagine if I got, like, Dress Down. How sick that would be. Okay, here we go. Round 4, Vintage Challenge, still live. We're up against Doomsday Expert. The cat, Kevin. Really like Wasteland against Doomsday. And I have a Force, so I think I might just keep this hand, even though it's a little bit on the low power level. We do still have a Tinker, so if we draw, like, another blue card, we can Force and keep our Tinker, and drawing any Moxen gives us, like, a turn 2 Tinker. I like this hand. I think I'm down. I don't think this hand's great by any means. The Siogwill could definitely be better off as a different card, and I definitely wish I had less lands in my hand, but very unlikely for me to mulligan a Force Wasteland. Oh, what? We got a Switcherino. Yeah, I haven't gotten to do that yet, Jay. Well, I don't think I can let that happen. And, yeah. We have a lot of lands against shops, so that's always nice. Oh, come on, bro! Too much mana. Maybe they'll, cast a Sphere for us. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Hope they don't play, like, a follow-up Saga. That would be bad. I have to take them off Workshop, right? Oh, they just have another Workshop anyways. Needle, sure. Urza Saga has been named. Revoker. Sensei's top is probably the name. Yeah. All right, 1 card left in opponent's hand. Well, not the worst draw, all things considered. We just have to beat an onboard Revoker. It's not the worst. That probably just needs to be forced. It doesn't do anything right now, but I think in the long term, we don't want that in play. What am I looking for now? Mox is definitely not bad. I don't think I'm going to expose my academy. Next turn, I can Yogwill a Wasteland back, I guess. All right, another Revoker. It's unfortunate because we lose our Ruby. But I guess we'll be happy it's not something that's more powerful than that. And Soul Guide Lantern. Well, that gets rid of our Wasteland, so we don't have Yogwill anymore. Okay. Everything's been covered. I actually think that, like, Yogwill for Wasteland would have been pretty reasonable there. Would have really constrained my opponent's mana to just Lotus. Urza's Saga, huh? Alright, I mean, it's still going to tutor for something, so it's probably worth playing. I wish we could draw an action spell, because then we could do it twice. It's a lot of spells that win the game on the spot. Tinker. Ancestral probably wins the game on the spot. Opponent has 6 mana to use, so they can still draw and cast any of their powerful stuff. They do have a clock, though. It's a pretty reasonable clock as well. All right, they drew something. What'd they draw? Oh, they just want to crack their Soul Guide? Sure. What did I exile to force? Like Fluster and Tinker? So I guess I can't draw Tinker. Main deck Null Rod? Bruh. Okay. All right. And another Revoker. I mean, I don't know what I have. Swords of Plowshares. That would give me double Swords of Plowshares. A Demonic Tutor. Lorien Revealed has been named. Manifold Key, huh? Can't say that was one of the cards I wanted to draw there. Do I hold this academy? No, I don't think so. Well, I only have one more draw step, unfortunately. Haven't really drawn any cards that mattered this game. My opponent also hasn't drawn very many great cards either. Do I fetch now? I just can't draw a card that has any relevance to the game in any way, shape, or form. Awesome. Cool. Great. I really don't like these decks. They just don't feel like they have anything inside of them. All their power is baked into their lands. And if my saga gets answered, I just don't have anything in my deck that's worthwhile. Kind of gross. Also cut every single piece of Shops hate because, you know, who plays Shops? So extra counters, needles, and then I'm on the play, so I am going to keep in Citadel, but on the draw, I might have to take it out just because I have no answers to spheres anyways. So take out all the bad cards against Shops, Fluster, Misstep, Probe. Then I have to consider, do I want anything else here? Maybe this Yogwill is like really bad because I just don't have any good spells in my deck. I don't know. Even Yogwill simply returning a Saga or a Wasteland is so good though. I can't imagine that balance is what I really want to be doing here. Like, normally I'd want to cut something like Dig Through Time, right? But my deck has just so few cards that matter. Feels like I can't cut Dig Through Time. Let's try this, I guess. This looks reasonable. So we can go Island Jet, Lorien revealed for a land, Vamp for a Tinker, Tinker for a Citadel with Force backup. Not backup, but like Force backup to counter the sphere on turn 1 kind of deal. Can't play the top and guarantee everything, but I think that's okay. Just gotta make sure I don't do it in the wrong order either. Ox Ruby and Ancient Tomb and 3-ball. Paying costs. Null Rod. Mock second Null Rod. Soul Ring second Null Rod. Okay. It's just Ancestral now. That's why I boarded Mindbreak Trap. Make them have a Wasteland. Mindbreak Trap, you're late. No Wasteland, Golos. All right. God bless. I'm getting destroyed. Just getting absolutely destroyed. There's another card? Bro! Come on! He's so good. These are just perfects. I'm dying. I only have 7 mana for Dig. It's okay. If we draw a Lorien revealed, we can get a Tundra. Oh boy. Yeah. No way you drew a Golos. Is it like a Chalice on 2? What else would you pay cost for here? Chalice on 2, maybe? Playing around Hercule's Recall. Okay. Even if I sack this Saga, I'm still 1 away, right, from digging. Let's see. Feel like I should just needle Wasteland. How good are my Wastelands here? Well, I don't want my actual lands getting wasted. So what did I draw? I did not draw any card that gives me a white mana. But I drew a Hull Breacher, I guess. So I can get Hull Breacher and Underground Sea and go for the block Arena. Okay. Well, that gives me a white mana. Is that better? Should be better. I know, I didn't think they'd be on this. I know this is in their range, but I thought they'd be on Doomsday. Surprised they went for the anti-Hercules instead of anti-swords. Ghost Quarter? I've been bested in the arena of ideas. I get to hold up Mindbreak Trap next turn, though, which is kind of nice. F6. I don't even have another island anyways, right? They're going on Twitter right now to see how many islands I have, which is unfortunate for me that my deck list is public information. Classic streamer advantage right there. I guarantee you it'll be a long pause and then they'll wasteland my Tundra or Ghost Quarter my Tundra. Can I know this so I don't shuffle those cards back on the top of my library? Oh, they didn't? Interesting. Oh, draw step? Draw step, wasteland my Tundra. I think it's more valuable for me to hold open Mindbreak Trap than cast Hull Breacher right now anyways. Just gonna know this so I don't have to draw those other cards that I put on the bottom. I don't think any of those were good. Like if my opponent draws a Crucible here, I need to have Mindbreak Trap open. Got him. We take those. All right, 3/2 flash. No other abilities. No, my wasteland. I turned off. It's okay. We got a Hull Breacher. They can't play any other blockers. Everything's fine. I think I'm going to hold that one. I can't get turned off of my Mindbreak Trap by one Ghost Quarter here, so I'm going to hold this one in case I need to cast something that costs a lot of mana, I guess. The Sphinx is on the bottom of my deck, and I don't have another Tundra, but I don't know. It just feels like a hold moment. So don't have enough Underground Seas in my deck to cast this. Classic. But if I draw my repeal, I definitely want this Lorien Academy to exist. The 3/2 flash? Is that what wins games of Magic? Could be. What do we got? All right, opponent has drawn a card. It is I'm loving this Chalice on 2, baby. He's doing it for the content now, and I love it. I love it so much. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yep. Urza Saga. That'd be a really good card here. That'd be a pretty sick one. Me too, friend. Me too. Game of Magic the Gathering is definitely occurring. Only the most powerful things happen on this channel. So I think I do have to crack this Misty for that last Tundra before the that one is not named. So is there any like one drop Saga thing that they could get that would be bad for me? I feel like it doesn't matter if there is or isn't. I should just strip mine anyways. And I have the Mindbreak Trap to cover their top deck Golos on the last turn. Of course it was a top deck Golos on the last turn. I love it. Mindbreak Trap! Read them and weep! Yeah, that was definitely a game of Magic the Gathering. I'm pretty happy that that game occurred because... God. So silly. So silly. I think I need more swords in my deck. Though it's really hard to cast swords. The dig through time was actually really important in that game. It cleared away like 10 bricks. We can probably cut a top for a swords. Sure. I'll go with that. Chalice was the best card for me. True. Factually accurate. Oh my gosh. Saga gamers are salivating over this hand. There's just no way, right? There's just no way this is remotely playable. On the play, maybe? On the play, maybe you could keep this hand? We've been needled every game. I'm gonna have to mulligan this. Don't think Saga is any good, unfortunately. This is definitely better. Let's put back the C. We are very much lacking in firepower with this hand, though. Grafdigger's Cage, that's a resolver. Null Rod. I think that's also a resolver in this case. I think this is like a Tundra Go game. I've drawn a lot of Citadels today. Drawn a lot of Citadels today. I think he's baiting me. I think he showed me Ancient Tomb so that I wouldn't counter this. I think this is a huge bait, and I'm supposed to counter this. I'm pretty sure I'm getting baited to not to like, oh, they don't have a Wasteland. I'll play Ancient Tomb first. I'll force this. Urza Saga doesn't make colors for Prismatic Ending? What does this card do? Does this card do anything? Hopefully it makes constructs and wins the game. But... God, if I draw another color of mana so that I can get rid of this Null Rod and go infinite turns, that'd be so sick. If I draw like an Underground Sea this turn, it's so good for me, right? Golos. Okay. I draw an Underground Sea this turn, I'm thinking that's the path forward here. That's not an Underground Sea. All right, I guess I am making tokens. I need to get 2 colors of mana, right? That's what this means. Okay. Maybe the tokens will be good enough. I can't make any more mana off of my Saga, though. I'm only going to get 2 tokens unless I draw a mana source, right? I don't think these are going to be good enough. This Bolas Citadel draw is like the most haunting thing in existence. All right, well, now I need more help. We do need to, if we draw a mana, we have what, 15 more lands in our deck? It's okay, okay. Draw. It's not the end of the world, but... Do I get more? No, I want to have a land, so I have to use this now. All right, so now both of my lands go away. God. And I can't play a spell? Wow. All right, yeah, this was really bad for me. So, what are we... I mean, we should just take the key, right? Or maybe we Needle Wasteland first. And then get the key off the second one. So that we don't get our Tundra wastelanded. Unfortunately, my sagas are just running away from me here. Really wish I could force this turn. Chalice on 1. I mean, we're currently winning with these constructs, right? So it's fine. Through the Wasteland. If I draw on a land here, I could actually attack through this golem and just win the game on the spot. This is just like attack with both. I wish I had force here. I say if I hadn't named Wasteland here, I could Wasteland their workshop. It's actually crazy for me, right? Maybe this needle was bad. I just thought like I wanted to preserve this Tundra. I mean, I think we're winning this game, to be honest, because this force should counter any top deck they have, and we'll just attack them for lethal with the Saga tokens. So I think the Saga gets the job done. I didn't get a single Saga Wastelanded or Ghost Cored in this match, huh? Kind of wild. Was Needle on Saga not better? I don't know, whatever. I think they lose Tomb Race. I think I let this one go. They probably should just take this. All right, we turned off Ancient Tomb. Maybe you don't take it because you want to protect. You maybe want to protect your Ancient Tomb activation. Kind of a weird game, too. Found the Golos? Oh, Forge doesn't do anything. Interesting game. We did not draw enough lands, even though we have like the most lands in the history of Tinker, which has kind of made the game really weird. We'll take it. Here we go, round 5 of 6 Vintage Challenge. 3-1, still in the running. Opponent has revealed Luris of the Dream Den. Apparently on my third monitor, they've revealed it. My hand does not have Force. It has 2 3-drops, an uncastable Delve spell, a Repeal, no Moxen, no Wasteland, no Saga. I hate this hand. It's so medium. It doesn't do anything powerful. Like I go Island top go, and I have no Force. I have no Moxen. I guess if I draw a Moxen, I actually is a pretty decent hand. My opponent's like not going to kill me if they're on Luris, right? It's most likely they're on a Luris control deck, though there technically are Luris combo decks. But if they like play the Luris Saga deck and I don't have an answer to Saga, looks pretty bad. I guess Repeal is kind of an answer to Saga. Am I talking myself into this hand? Like it's not like I want to go and like mulligan for something really powerful because my opponent's likely to have a bunch of counter magic anyways. I'm gonna keep it. I talked myself into it. See what happens. If my opponent did not reveal a Luris, I think I would have mulliganed this hand. But because my opponent revealed a Luris, I think it makes me interested in keeping it. All right, so now we know they're on probably blue-black Luris control. Flusterstorm. Unfortunately, I can't hold up this Flusterstorm. I really have to develop my Sensei's Top because I need to get my Academy turned on. The worst thing that could happen here is my opponent plays an Urza Saga, right? Moxen, Time Walk. Oh, glad it wasn't Urza Saga Time Walk. They don't have a ton of cards. 5 cards. Don't want to see a Wasteland really either. It's true. Yeah. Sounds about right. What are basics good for? Jeez. I'm so dead. And Bowmaster. I think I'm just going to repeal this Mox so that we have a higher chance of hitting our land drops. All right, well, we didn't get Wasteland followed up, so that's good. Luris back to hand with Bobble. We really need to get these Hull Breachers in play before this Luris comes down. Hoping we hit a Moxen for turn. That would be ideal. Underground Sea. So we're not going to be able to get a Hull Breacher in play before it comes down. We get to spin for a Force, though. And have Force Flusterstorm, possibly. Looks like it'll just be blue-black. It's Luris. Let's spin for Force. I do think I still want to force this, even though I would get pinged. All right, well. Kind of want to, unfortunately, I kind of want to draw this Demonic Tutor. But I think I have to just Lorien revealed. Like, we need a Hull Breacher in play so that we're not getting bobbled to death. Looks really bad for us. Just basically the strip mine on our island just pretty much ruined our chance of competing with this in this game. And we also needed to. Oh, I spun. It's okay. I'll draw this Wasteland. It's like the same thing, right? Sheesh. It's fine. I wanted to cycle those cards away, but it's fine. Oh boy. All right, well, if our Hull Breacher resolves and we kill a Bowmaster and then they didn't activate the bauble, it's pretty good. I don't think Saga is going to get the job done here. They have Hardcast Force, I guess, as well. I can still Hull Breacher again on upkeep if they like do something about this. You know my top card is Demonic Tutor. Oh, bobble to trigger their one fatal push in their main. Okay. Definitely just gonna respond to this with the second Hull Breacher. Draw the DT. Maybe we'll go DT for Vault Key. Because we're gonna have to draw the DT and the Vault Key. Alright, got the treasure token. Do we cycle this treasure token into another land? Or do we draw the time vault and just go for Vault Key? Keeping it in play gives us a ton more mana to do just that. But we also miss our land drop for turn. It's kind of a hard choice. Feel like it's better to just go for Vault Key. Just straight up replaying the bauble without any... Oh, interesting. All right, I'm just going to let that happen. Kind of feels like my opponent doesn't have anything else. What else is in their hand, though? It's got to be counter spells, right? I think we just play out the Time Vault. I know that this doesn't let us Demonic right away, but we could always cycle this Lorien for a Demonic as well. Maybe they have a counter. It just must be a bunch of counter spells, right? Maybe we do want a DT for Saga. Stall this board out. I definitely have a counter if they're thinking this hard about this. I guess they're just going to have to counter this demonic, right? Maybe I should have cast demonic first. Okay, they just snapped off negation, pitching Lorien with 5 mana still going. Interesting. I think I'm just going to cycle and then spin. And I think I want another white. No, I'll take a Tundra in case I find a the 1 swords maybe. Lorien revealed, Force of Negation. I mean, I feel like our game is going to be based on a dig through time looking for our key. I think these cards are probably just going to get cycled for my Lorien revealed. Maybe I'll keep the negation. I wish I could take this whole game back, but we are where we are. 3 cards in the opponent's hand. They've used their 1 removal spell, so they can't kill this Hull Breacher unless I block and they have a new Bowmaster. Which I will have to block if they attack all. Yeah, I can't stop this. So, oh, okay. I will let this happen, though. If they attacked all, I would just block the Lurrus. 3 baubles, wow. Okay, so cycle Lorien and then try to dig, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. I don't feel like a negation is going to help me here. I guess I could theoretically draw negation, pass the turn, upkeep Lorien. Or sorry, upkeep dig. Am I dead on board? I'm not dead on board. I am dead on board to another Orc army token, I guess. But this would let me go hard cast negation. Or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I dug, it would cost me 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'd have fluster negation. I guess wasting is similar, yeah. So maybe I do just do that. But then I know that 2 of my cards are dead out of my 8 cards. But all I need is... I need exactly key, right? Or like swords or something. Let's try it. Wasting is the same as paying, so I think it does make sense to wasteland them. So I can just exile. So I guess they're going to draw like 3 cards on my turn, which is kind of unfortunate. They have their own Flusterstorm, it's super bad. If they have Spell Pierce, it's kind of bad. Yeah. I mean, what am I doing here besides? Another one? Oh. Wow. Now I can't fluster them back. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And now I block my Lurrus, and then they draw 3 cards on my turn. I have to cycle Lorien, I guess. Oh, it's super bad. Everything is so bad. Tough game. Very few outs now. It's just key and resolver. I feel like if we drew this game, maybe they had all 4 baubles. If we drew this game maybe slightly better, we could probably have gotten out of this. Even simply just not getting strip mine. All right, so if I can find a key underneath here, Black Lotus. So I'm going to draw Lorien, cycle Lorien. That keeps me at 4 mana. And I get a fresh spin. I can spin into a key still. Okay, I think that makes the most sense. And I'm at 2, so I wouldn't die to a Bowmaster unless they had a second Bowmaster off of these draw 4. I guess it's pretty likely, but... Did not find the key. All right. I think I don't know. Maybe we could have mulliganed this hand, but we definitely had the tools we needed to win the game. Like, my opponent's draw was 4 baubles, and we had double Hull Breacher, and they had their 1 removal spell, but no answer for the second removal spell. Or sorry, for the second Hull Breacher. I think if we had simply gotten a Hull Breacher down a turn earlier, also known as like not getting strip mined or drawing a Moxen, I think this was pretty much a 1 game, unfortunately, but it didn't happen. So we're playing against blue-black Saga Tinker. Sorry, not so just Saga Luris. I actually don't think you want a negation at all. Could play Needle and Soul Guide, actually. Those seem reasonable. Could play some amount more swords. They're probably bringing in... I don't know, none of their cards look good because they're basically pre-boarded for the matchup. They do play a Daze and a Spell Pierce. I need to play around. Tons of negations and stuff. Ending looks okay. Swords looks okay. Repeal on Saga tokens still looks fine. Mystical looks a little sus. Sphinx is probably not what we're going for. Though I guess they can't beat Sphinx unless they bring in Soul Rend, which is kind of fun. I wonder if that's worth keeping then. Like, how likely are they to bring in Soul Rend? What do I take out, though, if I want these? Maybe I just don't want these. And I just take out Mystical Negation and I bring in Needle Soul Guide. Seems fine. Let's try that. All right. I think that game was, like, totally winnable with just a little bit better play. Or maybe a little bit better luck. One of the two. This looks like a keep to me. Now the question is, am I leading Saga, forcing them to have a Wasteland on turn 1? Or am I going to use my mana efficiently and play a Demonic on turn 1? Demonic for probably Tinker. Go for a Tinker on turn 2 with Force backup, maybe? It's probably better. And if they don't, I don't even have to go for Tinker. I could theoretically just go for just Saga. Is there like a better like play than just getting Tinker here though? If I draw another blue land, I can even... Well, this doesn't actually help me. I'm just going to get a Tinker. And then I am going to play this out. If they want to trap it, it's fine. They have to pass with mana open here or it's super bad for them. Okay. Now I feel like I'm just not supposed to Tinker. There's just too much happening. I can do it later. Just get a Saga going. Opponent can easily have Flustered, Spell Pierce. Wasteland immediately. Of course. If I draw a blue card this turn, I'll have Force Fluster, right? Top. I think I'll wait one more turn then. Maybe I should have spun first. Oh well. I don't know if like this Tinker line was actually what I should be doing with my life, but... Alright. Yield until next end step. And then I'm looking for a blue card for Force, or even just a land drop plays around Spell Pierce and... I didn't hit a thing, so I guess I just have to go... Man, not the best draws. I guess I just have to go land Tinker with the ability to pay for Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm and hope they don't have two. I guess Emerald's probably better than Ruby. Or sorry, Ruby's probably better than Emerald, but it doesn't matter because I don't have anything in my deck that makes that the case. My opponent has to have Force and a 1-drop spell. Or double Force, I guess. But I'm currently beating, if they have simply Flusterstorm or Spell Pierce, I am beating that by making this my first spell of the turn and having 2 land drops. I can actually go for Citadel here because they can't make a Bowmaster. They just had Force pitching Merchant Scroll. I guess I can look for the 3rd card down and see if the 3rd card down is a blue card. Well... No blue cards in my deck, apparently. No Lorien revealed. Resolve? Ooh, yeah. I mean, we weren't beating that, right? Even if I had Force, I wasn't beating Force Fluster here. It's kind of the reason I didn't think I was supposed to go for Tinker, but it just felt like we had enough pieces where it could really have worked out. All right. Well, my opponent's going to make Saga tokens. All I have is like Vault Key going. Sorry, not Vault Key. Top Key. If they play like a Bowmaster, it's super dead for me. Not much I can do about that. Just have to draw through some cards. Try to find a way to recoup our losses in this game. Probably needs to find a Wasteland or a Saga of my own. Or the Needle. Needle is probably the worst of the options. Wasteland of their own. Okay. It's good. It means I can't get Bowmastered. So if my top key resolves here, at least I can draw a bunch of cards. This draws Lantern. And then just gonna play it all out. I have a top coming on my next turn. I guess they could technically counter this if they'd like. Whatever, if that's the case. Oh, they're gonna Spell Pierce it. Yeah, sure, whatever. I have another top coming. I mean, it definitely makes sense for them to spell pierce it. Definitely not saying that's wrong. All right, so they make a 2/2 that comes a 3/3 that comes a 4/4. Then I need to beat that on board. I mean, my best out here is a time vault, right? Oh, they're keeping the wasteland over the blue source. I guess I am a little mana constrained. I guess they could needle my sensei's top off of the Saga Needle. If they put Needle in their deck, I guess. See what they do. Unfortunately, my Saga got wastelanded, and I didn't have a wasteland for their Saga. Oh, I guess that's true. Maybe they could just Needle Key. Does a pretty similar thing, and then it stops me from Vault Keying. Just Black Lotus, Luris, maybe. They'd have to have another Moxen to play Luris this turn. I should F3, I should F3, I should F3, I should F3. Oh, Demonic. Yeah, I mean, that's probably not beatable either. Just gets Ancestral. I don't know. I just feel like we have all the same powerful cards as every other deck like this, but we just don't draw the right ones. And we don't really have any way to make us draw the right ones. I don't know. Maybe I should be mulliganing more. It's definitely possible. I just don't feel like my deck is powerful or doing powerful things. They're just holding this Wasteland for Saga, which makes sense. And we draw the top. I'm going to start by just drawing with this. Fresh card. Top, number 2. Definitely blind activate. Try to just get as much card as I can while I have time. Fetch. So this is probably supposed to be top end of turn. Look for the best card on the top 3. Though what we can do is hold the fetch, draw for turn, look for best card in the top 3. If it's bad, fetch, and just give myself maximum outs to hitting Time Vault. The problem is I just don't think this Time Vault's going to resolve. We don't have nearly enough counter magic to protect it. Also, my opponent could at this point have a Bowmaster. I don't think that matters too much, though. You draw Time Walk? Oh, you drew Dig Through Time? Maybe? Wait, what just happened? Oh, Luris went into hand. That is pretty good for me. So the question is, do I want to keep these 3 looks? Yeah, I want to give me as many looks for this turn to have a Time Vault as possible. Hull Reacher, Urza Saga, Probe, pass. I don't want any of that. Nope. Just dead. Any Moxen from them kills me. All right, we'll try Yogwell if we get another turn. It's definitely worth a shot. Tinker and Yard. But like I said, any Moxen kills me here. Any Mishra's Bauble kills me here. Simply resolving Luris and bringing back Black Lotus kills me here. This also kills me because they go 4/4. I can't actually beat this. I just have to hope they don't activate the Saga. No. I needed this time. I needed this Yogwill on the top of my library in one of my 6 looks. Not after I use all my mana. Maybe I should have just drawn the Hold Breacher and chump blocked with it. I don't know. I'm sure we could have optimized that game better, but it just feels so hard to when they have Wasteland Saga and I don't have Wasteland. I don't have Wasteland of my own. I really like playing Dress Down in these decks for that reason. Just keeps you clean. Rough way to go. All right, here we go. 6th and final round, Vintage Challenge. I am up against I Love You. I've got some cards. Sure, let's keep it. I only have 11 minutes on my clock because unfortunately, I was playing a league match and I wanted to finish it, but I was unable to do so. I think this is just going to be pass, hold up, Lorien Revealed, and Vampiric Tutor. See what my opponent's playing, and then make correct decisions from there. Bazaar of Baghdad. All right, well, we have a Wasteland for that. Dredge. Okay, any hollow ones? No, they have a Grief, though. I think we just vamp for Ancestral. And then we Wasteland them and have Ancestral. It's going to be a pretty hard game to win still, but I guess we have a Soul Guy. No, we have a Needle, right? No, we don't have, we don't have either of those cards because that's not what I do with my life. Nice. All right, Ancestral. If I had like a bunch of Mox and I could go for like Tinker instead, but they probably just take the Time Walk, I would think. Maybe they take Lorien, so I don't have a white source if they have like a hollow one following it up. Maybe they take Key because it's like my easy way to win. There's some like reasonable choices. They took Key because it's an easy way to win. Maybe. Oh, they do have a follow-up hollow one. All right, here I just Wasteland them. Go to their turn so that I don't get negated. Upkeep Ancestral. Target me. Negation. Okay. They dredge. They hit a Narcomoeba. That's kind of it, actually. So pretty bad first dredge for oh, they have second. All right. Well, I don't know why I bother playing Magic. Got me. Been bested. 7-card double Bizarre Dredge hand. Classic. It's going to be a quick one. All right, so for me to win this game, I need to Tinker. So we're going to go Saga Time Walk. And then Yogwill. If I had a Moxen, I could actually Yogwill a Wasteland here, and that might be helpful. But I don't. So I can get a Lotus and have a crazy Yogwill Volt Key turn if I can live. How do I live? Is it just swords? Is that the only thing I can do is swords, the hollow one? They have not any Icarid. They have 1 Icarid, so this is 3, 6, 8. They have to hit 2 chills. Seems pretty likely. If I were to play Yogwill right now, I don't have any mana, so I need to wait. I need to hopefully get 1 more turn here. I guess this is like pretty similar to if I had just made a construct and blocked. Yeah, whatever. Just hit this with the swords and then yield until end step. And if I get to my turn, I think I win with Vault Key. If my opponent doesn't hit another Creeping Chill in their Dredge 6 for draw step. That's pretty unlikely. Unfortunately, my opponent basically had the Stone Cold Nuts. So 3, 6, 8. I go to 2. Yeah, one more chill in the 6. They missed. Okay, so do we win? Let's see. I do have to like win with time, and I got rid of like 15 minutes on my clock, so that might also be a problem. I hope that's not a problem, but I also don't know if I have enough mana for this. Do I have enough mana? Should have enough mana, right? Oh, I don't have a tutor because Vamp costs life. Okay. So I just have to Ancestral. Hit Tinker. Do I have enough mana? Play Key. Play Saga. Play top. Tinker top. Take infinite turns. And then we have to win the game with the time we have. And our opponent's not going to be nice to us about it because I made him wait for like 15 minutes, so. Shouldn't take us too long, though. Saga gets the job done real quick. Infinite turns? Who needs infinite turns? Not me. I only need a couple. Could have like thrown a Narcomoeba into the sky. It's fine. Just take an extra turn in case I misclick. And F6. Not bad. What? Takes me a minute? 2 minutes maybe? All right. We won that game. That was pretty lucky. And it gets better post-board. Leyline. Soul Guide, Needle, Tabernacle. Balance. Swords. I don't know how many swords yet. Definitely getting rid of Island. Maybe just get rid of both islands. And then we'll get rid of... Do we want to keep Repeal for Chalice on 0? No, not really. Definitely want to keep... Don't need Misstep. Don't need Negation. Don't need Yogwill. Don't need Dig. Don't need Citadel. I don't think I need all these swords either, but it's nice to have like some... I guess our sagas are our answers to Hollow One. Probably don't need swords. If I go like this, I have Hull Breacher, which I still like because of Leyline of the Void is one of our main things. We still have Forces and Flusters to protect our Leylines. We still have tons of lands. We have Sphinx off of Tinker, and we have Folk Key, which is not like amazing, but it's okay. And then we still have access to some removal. Yeah, sure. All right, so I have a Leyline and a turn 1 Tinker and a turn 1 Hull Breacher. Keep. All right, we got an Activate. Icarid, Wasteland, Force. Interesting, they pitched a Force. Drew our own Force. That's crazy. I just gonna pass. Keep up my Hull Breacher and my Force. See if they have a Vigor. Maybe I was supposed to keep my Tinker then. Yeah, maybe this play sucked. I don't know why I'm so... Yeah, maybe I should just jam Tinker then. Hopefully they like counter this Hull Breacher, and then I just force this Vigor, and then we win with Saga. If this resolves, maybe I just let this resolve, and then I like still am gonna get things off their first activation. Yeah, this is fine. If I draw another blue card, I can have Tinker back up. Easy game. Not even close to close. Yeah, they had Force. They can't activate to find another one. All right, I think that's just game. They get to activate here where they pitch their hand and I get 2 treasures and then they get to dredge, but I have a Sphinx in play, so they can't win. It's free. I know. See, I use my clock real well. Should I play the Soul Guide Lantern for Rubbins? I still had all these, by the way. If they go to activate, I just hit their yard, and then they give me 2 treasures again. Yeah, look at that. It took me like 5 minutes to win the round. No problem. Okay, so we ended up going 4-2 in this challenge. We lost a match to the Breach Tinker Saga deck, and we lost a match to the Blue-Black Luris controlling deck. Both of those matches felt, to me, like we just didn't have the right cards in our hand to compete. And something we've been talking about on stream is these Tinker mirrors, especially these Tinker Saga mirrors. They do seem to really hinge on whoever has the more powerful cards in their hand. Like if you both have a hand that has equal power level, it can be a really fun match. But if you have a hand where you mulliganed once and you're forced to keep, a reasonable hand and your opponent just has like the ancestral hand, then it's very hard to get a convincing game to come out of that sequence. The same goes for like if you are playing the mirror where you have 5 wastelands and 4 sagas and your opponent has 5 wastelands and 4 sagas, and you play a saga on turn 1 and it gets wasteland, they play a saga and you don't have a wasteland, and you kind of just like lose on the spot, which is pretty frustrating as well. I don't really know what like the remedy for that is, but it definitely can really get you. Like I don't know if I really would particularly say that the games that I played today were well played from my end. I think if anything, my mulligans were a little bit suspect, and then some of the sequencing didn't really make a lot of sense. But this deck is definitely less all-in than the decks that I typically pursue. The good thing to know here is that the Lorien revealed package does seem to allow for this spell land saga control deck where you're playing 9 colorless spell / land slots. So it does seem like that is the case, and that this does function. So if this is like kind of deck that interests you, or even like if you're a control player and you're interested in playing the blue-black Orcish Bowmaster version with Luris, the good thing to know is I would say that this deck is definitely playable. I would say that the blue-black Luris deck should probably still be playing Volt Key. I still think that Time Volt Key is one of the biggest upsides of Saga, and not playing it in these decks doesn't really make sense. So lose on the spot to Saga. Saga's good. No, of course Saga's fucking good. Time out. Time them out. Time them out. We won't be having this. It's probably a bait anyways, but of course an unanswered Saga is definitely going to win you the game in a Saga mirror where both decks are built to play Saga tokens instead of utilizing Saga as a combo-oriented piece. To be fair, the Breach deck was using Saga as a Volt Key and Breach combo card, whereas the blue-black Luris deck is using Saga as a grindy card. This deck is somewhere in between the two of those, where we do have, Volt Key or Saga for Lotus for Citadel, but for the most part, like, my main win condition in this deck is Saga tokens, right? And, like, that was something I noticed way back when we were playing, different PO decks versus Saga, is that if you're doing something more powerful than Saga, like, for instance, casting Paradoxical Outcome, you basically negate the entire part of Saga being in the deck. But if you are actually playing a matchup where it's Saga versus Saga and both of your decks are Saga primary win cons, then the Sagas are super important, because the first person to play a Saga has an extreme advantage. The person who has multiple Moxen in play has an extreme advantage, because if you finish your Saga first, you can needle their Saga, and then they don't have a lot of ways to deal with it. It's possible that a deck like this wants to have Dress Down for that exact reason, where if you're put on the back foot in the Saga mirror, you can clean up the whole board with the Dress Down and then start making your own Saga tokens again. I've basically been telling people that if you're a full Moxen blue deck, I think no matter what, even if you are a Saga deck, you should probably still be playing Dress Down. And I think that definitely held true here. One card we didn't play today was Mentor. I'm not sure how good Mentor would have actually been in any situation we played today, but it kind of makes me sad that Mentor feels a little bit power creeped out of the format as well. I don't know if that's a true statement. One of the biggest problems with Mentor is that it should be very, very good against Saga, but it isn't because of Manifold Key. If Manifold Key didn't have this tacked on, can't be blocked ability, Monastery Mentor would actually just, and to be even wider, just like token generators like Iconoclast and Young Pyromancer and Saheeli, and all of these cards that make tokens would be so good against Saga if Manifold Key didn't exist. But having to have your token maker and have an answer to Manifold Key just feels like it's too much. But I guess if it makes a lot of sense, if you are a Null Rod deck, maybe you do want some of these token maker kind of cards in your deck, because I don't know, they're just big clunky tokens, and if you have a bunch of 1/1s, you can totally win. I watched a really cool game when I was doing data the other day where there was an Iconoclast and there was a Needle on Manifold Key, and there was it lasted for 30 turns, and then the Iconoclast player won. Anyways, so yeah, the final verdict of this deck is it's definitely conceptually correct and working. It's definitely playable. I don't know if I will pursue any more avenues with this Saga Wasteland stuff. It feels a little too clunky for the kind of deck that I want to play. I'm more interested in playing a very streamlined combo deck if I can make it work. So the good news is we have Beseech the Mirror coming out next week, and so I'll get to do tons and tons of testing and see if there are any really broken combo decks with that card. And if not, then we can get back to testing Tinker and Doomsday or just straight up Doomsday. So thank you for watching more vintage content on this channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will see you then.